So there's a lot of reasons you might want to invest in the Panasonic Lumix system, but a big one for me is the lenses. Every manufacturer these days has pretty decent to incredible camera bodies and specs and things like that, but I find a lot of the other companies just have under-designed lenses, especially for video. I'm going to go over a few aspects of Panasonic lenses in particular that make them amazing for video. Well, at least lenses for the Panasonic systems. There might be a few third-party options in there too, but which is a benefit in and of itself, right? So the first main one I always think about is just the build quality. A lot of the lenses are really, really solid plastic, metal, rubber, and they just feel good. They're substantial. They're weather sealed to a degree that I don't think most other companies do. I mean, they're not quite on the same level as Olympus, who actually have like official ratings for their lenses, but you know, rain, dust, freeze proof, and that goes great with some of the high-end bodies that are all of those things as well. So if you want some of the most rugged, tough, well-built lenses out there that aren't, you know, cheap pieces of plastic. Like I've even seen some of the Canon L series lenses, while a little bit lighter, are not quite as well built as you would think for some of the high-end glass. And with Panasonic, that's not something you really ever have to worry about. Even like their kit lenses are built like tanks. God, I hate the phrase built like a tank. I hear it so much that they're built like a tank just works. What can I say? The next one is just going to be, like I said in the intro, they're designed for video, whether it's the zooms being electronically parfocal or most of the lenses being really well controlled for focus breathing, autofocus working while zooming in and out, at least on the new phase detect cameras and those lenses. And build quality things too, like aperture rings on a couple lenses, a focus clutches that you can pull back and get the closest thing you can get on a mirrorless camera to linear focus other than, you know, actual cinema lenses. And even really niche stuff like the lens characteristics and colors matching between like the zooms and the primes and all the stuff, especially on the S series full frame cameras. You can swap those lenses in and out, and the characteristics, the light transmission, all those things are going to be really, really close, especially for lenses that aren't dedicated cinema lenses. So yeah, a lot of really impressive stuff there. I could go on about this. I mean, like the Leica 10-25 and 25-50 are great with the parfocal, the clutch, the clickless aperture, the 1.8 primes for the S series have the completely consistent build quality and design and character and things like that. And even lenses like the 28-200 and the 100mm macro kind of fit into that camp as well, even though they don't really need to. So they just really keep video creators in mind at first, whether you're doing vlogging or content creation or more high-end video work or even short films and things like that. The next thing is just going to be, I guess, what I call the X factor, which is just, especially on micro four thirds, but on full frame too, just lenses that fit a kind of potentially a standard archetype for a lens, but at the end of the day end up having one or two things that just puts them in a different camp, whether it's a really great minimum focus or an extended range or a focal length that really you would never see before. Like I talked about with the 1.8 primes, that X factor there is just that matching set. With the Leica 10-25 and 25-50, you've got focal lengths and aperture combinations that you don't see on almost any other system, especially with such a premium build quality. With the 28-200 or the 100 macro, you've got kind of standard archetypes for lenses, but in much smaller packages while maintaining their pretty amazing image quality for the most part. And a ton of the Micro Four Thirds lenses have really unique characters, like the 12-35 or the 35-100 being relatively small, the Olympus 40-150 giving you a 80-300 f2.8 instead of the 70-200 kind of standard thing. And a lot of the Olympus lenses having 1.2s and manual focus clutches. There's always just some little unique thing. Hardly any of the lenses from Panasonic are standard lenses without any bonus features or extra surprises. So I always love that there is something unique to be gleaned from almost every Panasonic Lumix lens. And the last thing is just going to be variety and options. Now, of course, we know Micro Four Thirds has been around for a very long time, so we've got Panasonic, Olympus, a couple of Sigma lenses, a bunch of third-party lenses like the Midicon Cinema lenses or the Voigtlanders or whatever. There's been a ton of manufacturers making lenses for this mount forever. And you've even got crazy options like native anamorphic lenses and cinema lenses and all this crazy stuff. On the other hand, we've got the S series, which while it is newer, we've got a lot of companies joining the L mount alliance. We've had Leica, who made the mount in the first place, I'm pretty sure, as well as Panasonic themselves, but also Sigma making, relatively smaller lenses with some fun features like the Art series lenses, or cheaper versions of the 24 to 70s, or smaller versions like the 28 to 70, and a ton of other companies like Blackmagic and DJI and tons of other companies jumping onto the system. Now, I think here the only real weakness is a few native lenses that people would want to see, like the 135 millimeter or a few others. But generally, the biggest place is I see a lot of companies, especially in the manual focus, cinema lens or otherwise department, skipping over the L mount for whatever reason. So I hope that changes. But with all these companies investing in the L mount alliance and all these lenses being made from a budget standpoint, a small standpoint, video or photo or anything in between, I think just the variety, again, whether it's micro four thirds or full frame, they have variety for different reasons. But whether you go with either system, I think you end up getting so many options that it's just really nice that you're not locked in to Panasonic lenses or lenses that Panasonic, gives the okay with. Obviously they have some say in certain things, but it's not like Canon where you're completely locked out of third-party lenses, or maybe if they're good enough, we'll allow you to use them. Or it's like Sony where it's like, we'll let Tamron make some lenses, but they can't be as good because, we own part of them and we tell them so. I mean, sure, Panasonic does have some advantages if you use their native lenses, like the, focusing while zooming that I talked about earlier. I don't think the Sigma lenses or other lenses can do that, but still, those are little things and small advantages here and there, whereas the mount is still relatively wide open for a lot of people to jump in on. And so there you go. I think Panasonic and the collaborators that work on the same mounts as them, Micro Four Thirds, full frame, both have some incredible lenses out there, a huge variety of lenses out there. And is that a reason to invest in this system? Well, now that they have a fantastic autofocus, I think it's just one less excuse to not invest in Panasonic Lumix cameras and lenses. So anyway, I just wanted to put out my thoughts on there because I really do think there's something special about the lenses and the mounts that Panasonic have chosen for their cameras. And like usual, I can't wait to see what else is out there and what other design space could be explored in the future for Micro Four Thirds and full frame. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Like and comment if you want to, and I'll see you when I see you.